Hey everybody, I got another crazy hard hat talk for you all. I wanted to talk about tips for starting at a new job site. Usually when you're on like a place that you've been at for a long time, like you know what tools to bring, you know exactly what you'll need within like a certain range. But sometimes you can be thrown into a job and, well, not sometimes, more often than not, you'll be thrown into a job and have no idea what's going on until your both feet are on the ground there. So I just wanted to give some sort of tips for like getting onto a new site. So I guess just starting off with arriving early is probably the best thing you can do. In my experience, I feel like how you're given the address for your new job site definitely determines how I'm going to show up. If I get a pin, I'm definitely going to arrive super early because, you know, Apple versus like Android Google Maps or Apple Maps, it makes a big difference. So I'd highly recommend that if someone even sends you a pin, that you ask for a physical address instead. Because I've had it happen where I've arrived at a job site that was like 15 minutes in the opposite direction when I got a pin. So if you ever get a pin, ask for an actual address or something very close. So on my first day arriving on a new site, I'll usually arrive like 30 minutes early because I don't exactly know if I'm going to be in if there's like a big lot or if there's like special considerations for parking. Like you might have to park at a far place. Sometimes there's a shuttle. Other times you'll have to get there early and you'll have to do like a long walk, or there's like a bunch of gravel and you can't really bring your rolling boxes through that. So just give yourself like a second to assess where you meet in the morning and also like how far away the job site is from where you have to park. That's something that I usually do for like the first day. I'll do 30 minutes early, and then like the next 2 days I'll do like 15 minutes early just to make sure I didn't luck out and something worked out really well in my favor. And then after that, after I kind of hone in how much time it is, I do like 5 to 10 minutes, and that could be a whole conversation about showing up at that time. But honestly, you kind of have to judge by if your foreman is a stickler or not about like being 15 minutes early or being there 10 minutes early. You kind of have to feel that out. So arriving early definitely helps with you feeling out the job site, like how far you have to park away, and then also I suppose being timely so that you don't make a bad impression, because so many people are so quick to judge on anything, and being late can be something that just sets you off on the wrong foot. Sometimes there's nothing you can do right with certain people, but arriving early is definitely something that I would say is a great thing to start off doing. Then I would say figuring out the people on the job site. Like first, obviously who you report to, like who's your foreman, who the superintendent is for your company for that job, because you don't want to be ever like, you want, if that person is around, you want to make sure that you're like physically doing something. There's like a lot of lulls that will happen during construction. Like material needs to arrive for you to do something, or you're like in a sketchy situation potentially, like maybe there's like a bunch of ducting in the way and you have to go get to a rack that's above a duct or something of that nature. So making sure that you're not doing that when that special person is around is very important. To that point as well, feeling out how the foreman reacts to certain things is like very important. So like during that first week and a half, 2 weeks, feel out if they're a stickler for safety, if they're a type of person that would write you up for instance, I don't know, standing on the sides of a lift, which you're not supposed to do, but sometimes there's not really a way to do it any other way. So kind of feeling out like if the person is a big stickler on the rules, lax or if they're really strict, and then you can kind of figure out how you need to respond accordingly. Another thing I'd say is ask when everyone takes break. I know that might seem like not a crazy, and that might seem like a kind of silly thing to ask, but ask when everyone takes lunch, because, and also how they take their breaks, because certain places will be like, oh, well, we don't take lunch. We just go all the way through and then we leave 30 minutes early. And some places will be like, oh, well, we do 50-minute breaks, or we do 45, or not 50 minutes breaks, but we stack our break on top of our lunch. So like certain places do it way different than others, and so if you don't take that into account beforehand, like you might be working, and then you don't even realize it, and then they're already on to the next thing, and everyone's on lunch and you're still working. So make sure that you take lunch when everyone else takes lunch, and make sure that you know when everyone is taking lunch and breaks. I recently got on a job site that works 4/10s, and I did not know that we were working 4/10s. I thought we were going to have 5/10s, and so it came Thursday, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, we're working 4/10s." And I was like, "Really?" So like you never know how someone does different things in a job site. So I'd also say it's important to find out who like the foreman's right-hand man or brown nose is, because you want to make sure that you keep that behavior up that you would have with the foreman, with that person as well, because the last thing you want is someone like being a snitch or a tattle on you. So also, just for your own like protection, I'd say figure out if anyone's like a brown nose or anything like that. Keep an eye on them. Also, if possible, and this might be excessive, get people's phone number. You don't have to get everyone's phone number, but maybe just get like one person's phone number, because you just got to the site, and if you can get someone who's been on site longer, like they might have insight into things that would be helpful, like if they're going to work an overnight shift, or and they knew that because they heard about it being originally scheduled, or they did the work way in advance. You know, if there's an opportunity for overtime, or there's like a special time when you have to start, that's something that you're gonna need to know. So like having the foreman's number, and then having somebody else who would actually probably respond to you, you know, is something that's also important. So at least get one person's number. Like if you pull wire with someone, you know, that's an opportunity to get someone's number. Or if you're just like shooting the shit, and you know it comes up that you want to send them something like a link or whatever, or a joke, you know, that's another way that you can, you know, nab somebody's number. Yeah, I'd also say like introduce yourself. This might be also very simple, but introduce yourself. Don't just like roll up and then like not talk to anybody. I'm not saying people in construction are the most talkative, but some people like might give off like a weird vibe. So maybe just like introduce yourself. You don't have to give your whole life story, but at least like say who you are, and so everybody knows your name, and just get to know everybody's name, because it's weird being like, oh, that guy, or the new guy, or whatever. Like just introduce yourself to everyone. You know, that's a great way that you can get to know your crew, is just saying hello and getting to know all the people on your crew. There's also going to be some sort of dynamic with other trades, and that's also dependent on what you're doing. And but for instance, like I just got into a job recently where there was a lot, we're in a remodel, and a lot of the things that need to be in place for the remodel to be successful. There's like a massive punch list of small ticket items that need to be done, and so my responsibility was kind of working down that list. And so instead of my foreman being the one who is kind of the point person on that, and like the person who was knocking down that punch list as time went on, like they had all the new build stuff that was something that they, was their main priority, and so much so, or the remodels old stuff that had already been ripped out and was in different stages of needing to be brought up to code or to safe it off or what have you, was all under the jurisdiction of the general contractor. So I was just thrown in with the general contractor and kind of told what electrically needed to be done. So if there's another trade that you're working in coordination with, get to know them as well. If you're installing a generator or a big you're providing power for some specialty equipment, and let's say you're working on a hospital and they're dropping a huge fuel tank or something, coordinating work is also really important. So, and this is kind of getting a little too far in depth, but yeah, other trades are working around you, and it helps to know the other trades on your site. Sometimes you might be able to ask them for something. I ask drywallers for drywall screws all the time, and getting to know them is there's no harm in it, and you might actually end up getting I've had so many different scenarios I could talk about where knowing somebody was really helpful for some information. Recently we were working on a bathroom, adding some circuits for a hand dryer that's built into the sink, and just talking to the plumbers, because I didn't have the plans on me, they were able to tell me where the hand dryer / faucet was going. So I was like, oh, cool. So just talking to someone else who is in the know, doesn't always have to be within your company. It's good. I've also got beam clamps from plumbers before. So just knowing people and talking to people, there's no ends for how useful it can be. So it's also just interesting to get to know new people. So, and learn about different experiences. So definitely talk to other trades too. So that was a little bit too in depth on that portion, but I guess some other stuff would be knowing where the main material on site is held. If you have someone who's the material handler who's always on site, get their number, and they will be able to hot run you stuff and get you stuff. It's a very large job site. Knowing that person can be super helpful. If you need a bunch of wire and you don't want to walk a quarter mile, a half a mile to go get the wire, having that person's number, you can call them up and bring some over if that's something that is permitted, they would be okay with you doing. So if there's someone like that on site, get to know them. If the material is super messy, maybe within the first week you can just take it upon yourself to clean that up, so that you can sort of orient yourself with knowing where everything is, because orienting yourself is one of the hardest things sometimes. Just getting your bearings on a site can be something that takes a significant amount of time, especially depending on how large the site is. Another thing too, I just talked about with orienting yourself, if you're getting thrown into the middle of something and there's a lot of hallways and you're just getting they're oh, you got to go this way, turn around the corner, go this way, that way. Find a way to remember where you are at, because I've been in a hospital before. When I first started out, I was they were oh, let's go down this hallway, go through this equipment room, go to this electrical room, go out and go past this boiler room, and then we're at the spot where we need to pull wire, and it's where am I right now? And so if there's certain things that stand out, make a list in your head as you're walking so that you can, this might seem like a very simple thing, but you're in a new place, so just get your bearings. Don't ever just keep walking and following someone and be oh, that person knows where they're going. Eventually it's just going to be you, so you're going to need to know where you are, where you're going. I literally got lost in a parking garage once when I first started out. I thought we were meeting in one location. We drove to a different location. It was 3 a.m. I took an elevator up. I was getting to know the crew and was not paying attention where I was walking, and by come lunchtime, I was like, where did I park? I have no idea where, like what elevator floor we even got off on. It was really bad. So thankfully I had someone who was able to help me out with what floor we were on. But like, that's just an example of something that can happen to you. Like, if you're not paying attention, you can totally get in a bad spot. So following, like, creating a map in your head of where you're at is definitely important. And again, I know that might sound stupid, but you'd be surprised the amount of times that, like, a left turn or a right turn is something that you just completely blank on when it comes down to it. So getting your bearings is definitely something that's important. Yeah, so we covered lunch, we covered like where material is, where you meet in the morning. We already talked about that. I think there's probably more that can be talked about with this topic. Let me know if there's something else that you guys do. Here's one. So I apologize for how informal these videos are. If anyone's watching these, just I can start editing these. I just like this format more. I feel like it's more natural. It's kind of annoying to me when I see 8,000 cuts. I apologize if I say a lot, but whatever. But anyways, so if you are on a new site, make sure you find out where lunch is acceptable to be had. So like, if you're on a new site, and like I was on a data center recently, you could not eat inside the building. It was like 115 outside, but you can't get in the shade inside. So like, you would be like written up if you were found with food in this blank, nothing inside of it data center. So that's another thing to consider. Like, can I bring my food on site, or do I have to eat it in my car? Is there a cafeteria lounge? Is there a designated eating area? Like, those are things that you need to consider. So definitely consider that. Also, like, I'm not the person who leaves it up to it being lunchtime to figure out what I'm going to eat. So I'd also recommend, just in general, to bring your own lunch. There's a lot of really quick things that you can make for lunch, and I definitely recommend to just go find something that's super quick and satisfies like your calories for the day and actually gives you energy, and hopefully it's cheap too, and just do that. Like, have like 2 or 3 of those things that you can just go between and run that, because it will save you money, and it will allow you to actually have your lunchtime be a time when you can like decompress, rather than like, I gotta go drive all the way to Taco Bell, and then let me see if I can fit that in before break, and then you end up eating while you're driving, and then it's like you get done, you slammed your food, and then you're gotta rush back to the site. Like, it's not a great life. And it's not really healthy either. So plan ahead and pack a lunch. So those are some of the things that I think help you out when you're starting on a new site. The last thing is find the plans. Find who has an iPad, or where the plans are, like, and if it's a current print, find out if the prints are current. If it's old stuff, know that that's crap. Just find blueprints so that you can get your mind wrapped around what this site is trying to accomplish and in what place. So, but yeah, that is something that I don't know why blueprints are so highly coveted and secret for some reason in certain job sites. But if you can get your hands on a pair of prints, like, take a picture of what you're working on, and maybe just like a general couple of pictures, like the lighting plan, the power plan, the ceiling height elevations. Really become aware with what type of ceiling is going to be in that area. You don't want to be running something and then realize you put a box in an inaccessible area. So become aware with what the prints say for the area that you are working in. and make sure that what you're doing is acceptable in the situation. And like, you might think that like they told you to run a box and set a box, but they didn't. Like, there might be someone who's not really specific. So get your hands on some prints, or if you can't, ask those questions immediately. Like, what's the ceiling height? Are we setting, like, how is this being fed? Are we doing conduit? Like, so like, just have a way of understanding the new job site that you're on and its intentions and what you're there to accomplish. So I think those are all the things that I have to say about this topic. If you have anything else that's helpful for you when you get to a new site, let me know down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks.